Hey, what's happening everyone? Journeyman here and welcome back to Save Our Saints. Today is the third episode. We are halfway through our first season on Football Manager 2019 and I've learnt a lot about the game, and I've also been thinking that, well, I don't know as much as I thought I did. I may have to rewrite some of my internal programming when it comes to football management games, especially with this one. There are so many changes, and so far in just half a season, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and I've seen the downright ugly as manager of Southampton Football Club. But without further ado, let's get this episode rolling. Hey everyone, once again, welcome back to Save Our Saints. Today is the third episode of my Football Manager 2019 beta save with Southampton Football Club. So I've played through pretty much one half a season here as manager of Southampton, and as things currently stand, we sit in 11th place in the table, just one place above Chelsea, who surprisingly having a pretty rough time this season thus far. However, there's been a lot of good with our season thus far. Obviously, we've won 8 games, so that's an improvement over last season, but we've also had a lot of, a lot of negatives to go over. Let's take a look at some of the schedule. I'll tell you the run. Obviously, in the last episode, that was that 2-1 win over Watford, and obviously I played through again half the season. As you can see, our form is super inconsistent. That could be just because the quality of the squad quite isn't there yet, or maybe because I was doing a lot of tactical maneuvering. I was doing a lot of adjustments to the tactic itself. Played a lot around with different styles and things like that. But I think now is the time for me to start really pushing on, really trying to really turn things around for the Saints, because this trial period often reflected how I felt about playing the beta save, just doing kind of experiments, stuff like that, trying to work out some of the good things and good habits to have in Football Manager 2019. And I've learned some things along the way, especially with the tactics. I found out that crossing against is overpowered this year. If you get crosses into the box nice and early, more often than not, you get a good clear-cut chance. And counter-attacking is important this year too, I've noticed as well. Our team isn't really set up for that, nor board wants us to play that style, so I'm not utilizing it at this moment. But if you have a counter-attacking kind of formation or counter-attacking style of football, as long as you execute it well, you should be overpowered. Those are two things I've learned about the match engine. Injuries, obviously, there's injury bugs, stuff like that, but that's common, that's normal in beta. And obviously, just keep in mind too, any criticism I have or anything I'm mentioning is in beta. Things will change time and time again. One version, I forget now, what was it? I guess 19.03 or something. It's not even the full game, technically speaking, or something along those lines. So obviously, things are going to change as we get closer to the release dates. Training, obviously, this is obviously a big improvement. I talked about training a little bit in the last episode. There's so much you can do into training, and I've kind of grown into it. Originally, I'd started doing originally I started letting the assistant manager do a bit more, try and get a basis, try and get a routine going. Now, once a month, I like to go into my training panel here, and I like to make slight adjustments based on how we're playing at that time. I've noticed that we conceded a lot from corners and set pieces, so I'm having to work on a lot of that. Aerial defense, you'll notice a couple of extra training sessions every now and then. That's to try and counteract some of the issues that we've been having in the first team as far as conceded goals and stuff like that. So this kind of like this update to training and this overhaul gives you, the player, I've noticed, a chance to really correct some of the bad habits in your team. I haven't done it successfully, and I hope you guys have much better luck than I do. I've noticed that the squad dynamics once again is as sensitive as it was last year. Obviously, when you're managing a lot of top talent like you are in the Premier League, you're going to come across players that aren't happy about not playing, and I've experienced that quite a bit here at Southampton. I had no real affiliation to any of the older players, although being a Saints fan, likes Amar Yoshida, I love Yoshi, but he's not going to get a game behind Hout, Vestergaard, and De Ligt, and even Jack Stevens. Jack Stevens has actually demanded a move too. But I have no affiliation with those older players, so I haven't played them that much. And dynamics, once again, yeah, players think they're better than they actually are, so that's nothing really unusual, I suppose. But in today's episode, by the way, I forgot to mention before we started, we're taking on Arsenal and Manchester United. So I'm bringing you guys back for what could be two very, very embarrassing scorelines. Tactics-wise, the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of switching between on number one, which is this one, which is what we started the season with, to go into a bit more like this. Now, the only problem is we spent a lot of money on Victor Moses, and he was one of our big money signings for pre-season, and he really hasn't done very well. Went down to an injury. He was out for 2 months, and he had little nicks and problems as the season's kind of gone on. So he hasn't really found any time and momentum in the first team. And every time he's got an opportunity, he's kind of disappointed and let me down quite a fair bit. So I'll switch to a bit more traditional 4-2-3-1 formation. And that's what we'll be using for today's games. Again, I want to start pushing forward now. I want to start trying creating an identity for this team and really making a concerted effort to turn this club around. Not like I wasn't trying before, but I feel like now is the time to do it, because if I don't turn the club around now, I could be facing the sack, my first sack in a Foot Manager 2019, which, let's be honest, it's going to happen soon anyway. But as things stand right now, the board is not displeased with my job, so my job security is there for now, but unless I start to turn things around, I know eventually it's going to catch me up, and we're going to be in a situation where we're going to get fired. But anyway, transfers, a couple of things have been announced here. Maya Yoshida is going to Ajax in January, 4.6 million. He's out. We couldn't get much more money from him, to be honest with you. Wage budget, we've got plenty of wage budget to work with, a little bit of transfer budget. So I'll be looking for players to perhaps bring in on loan in January to try and strengthen the team, because we do need a lot of strengthening still. We went through a lot of injuries, and I didn't realize how thin our squad was until we started to get a few key injuries. So some of the key squad performance before we jump into the game today. Danny Ings leading North scorer, as you can see, with 7 goals, 3 assists to his name as well. He kind of scores in bunches. I've noticed he goes a couple of weeks without scoring, and he scores 2 or 3 in a game. Lamina, he's got himself 4 goals this season. He's a great player, but for some reason he just can't stay healthy. He's always needing a rest. He's always jaded, needs a rest. Assists, we're struggling in this department. Danny Ings has 3. Matty Target has 3 from that left-back role. Charlie Austin's got a couple. Davis, Johnson, things like that. Glenn Johnson, by the way, he's actually been really, really, really good. Very, very solid, and definitely value for money. If you're looking for a solid backup Premier League right back, Glenn Johnson is your guy. Certainly, he can still do a job. No doubt about it. Other big signing, Matthias de Ligt. Now, he's been very disappointing. Average rating so far this season of 6.67. I expected more from him. He is growing. He is developing into a very, very nice player like he did in Foot Manager 2018, but he still makes errors. He makes silly, silly errors, and he hasn't really formed a good, solid partnership with either of our centre-halves yet, Vestergaard or Hout. So, Hoyt, I keep calling Hout for some reason. It's Hoyt, technically speaking. Other disappointments so far, El Yunusi. He's shone in some games, and other games he's kind of disappeared. Premier League he's disappeared primarily the most here. Average of 6.51 in the Premier League, and if you look at the bottom of the page, you'll see that he's done very well in the cup competition, the Carabao Cup, which, by the way, we're knocked out by Shrewsbury Town. Just want to throw that out there, just to embarrass myself. And then he's done well for international level 2 for Norway. So he's been a slight disappointment too. There's been lots of disappointments. I could go through the squad here and tell you about who's playing badly and who should be doing better. But yeah, I mean, that would take far, far too long. But generally speaking, the squad overall has really performed, I would say, as expected in my opinion. They haven't overachieved nor have they underachieved. There are certain key performances that I wish would play better, but hopefully the turn of the season, hopefully maybe the start of this episode, that'll turn around for us. So, anyway, enough for rambling. Let's actually get into some match action, shall we? So, up against Arsenal here. Arsenal are currently second on the table. Sorry, I was going to say top. It's second. Liverpool yet to lose again this season, by the way. The only team in the Premier League yet to lose one. Arsenal lost 2 games. They lost to Liverpool and Tottenham. 44 points, going very, very strongly under a new manager, Unai Emery. And this is going to be a very, very tough game. Koscielny, by the way, as transfer listed, which is a little bit of a surprise. I imagine Koscielny being their best defender, but he's transfer listed. In fact, he's even unregistered to the first team, which is kind of even more of a shock. But here we go. We'll go up against Arsenal here. Now, I'm doing this 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm on positive now, but I'm actually going to switch to cautious. I'm actually going to go to a counter-attacking system instead. Obviously, Angus Gunn, he's had a very good season for us so far. He's got a ton of potential. He's definitely going to be a good Premier League goalkeeper in FM19. We'll start Johnson at right back, naturally. Ball-playing defenders in. We'll start De Ligt. Partnering him, we'll do Vestergaard. Left back, Ryan Bertrand technically is our best option there. He's also our fittest. Target's struggling a little bit with fitness right now. In the middle of the park, Lamina, as you can see, he's just not fit enough to play. 79% overall condition. Just really disappointing. I can't utilize him more. We'll do James Ward-Prowse. Next to him, because we have Prowse there, we got us on a bit more physically, a bit more physical midfielder there. So Romeo is probably the ideal partner for him. Midfield, winger, supports. We'll do Elyounoussi on the right. The advanced playmaker here. Armstrong, he's had moments of brilliance, so we'll start him today. Inside forward on the left, I guess Maxwell Cornet, I guess we'll do that role. Victor Moses, by the way, can do that role too. If you've noticed here, he can actually play the inside forward, so that might be something I consider. And then deep line forward, it's been kind of alternating between Danny Ings, Gabbiadini, and Charlie Austin. Gabby's got himself a couple of goals, I think 3 for the season so far. He's my second top goal scorer when it comes to strikers. So we'll start Gabby today, and he's actually a bit more of a complete forward, so that's always nice to have an option like that. So we'll roll with that team for the game against Arsenal here. Obviously, we're just looking to maybe hit Arsenal on the counter-attack. Just be solid. Just don't do anything stupid, and we might be able to come away with a point or so. All right, so here's the Arsenal team. They're lined up in a very similar system here, 4-2-3-1 formation. Socrates, I think he's a new signing for Arsenal in this game, signed for £14.25 million from Borussia Dortmund. Big Greek centre-half, 30 years old, very, very physically capable, as you can see. Pretty much ticks all the boxes you wanted in a modern-day centre-half. And he's had a good season thus far, too, in the Premier League, averaging 7.25 and getting himself 3 goals. So, very dangerous in set-piece situation as well. Lucas Torreira, that's a player I want to keep an eye on. I feel like he could make a big impact for Arsenal in real life and in the game. How's Aubameyang doing? As well as you would expect, 13 goals in 15 starts in the league. The guy's going to score for fun. Mesut Ozil, how's he doing? 11 assists, 10 assists in the Premier League. He's having a good campaign as well. Always better in Football Manager than he is in real life. Like I said, disappointing in Football Manager. I think he's better in real life. Kind of the reverse of Ozil. 7 goals to his season thus far. So, yeah, let's just go and jump in here. Obviously, if we get a point here away from home, this would be an exceptional result. All right, so here's maybe the first chance of the game. Only 30 seconds in, it might fall to us. Romeo there picks up the pieces. There's Vestergaard. Came out to nothing in the end, though. This is Angus Gunn. Arsenal playing a very, very high line of engagement there, as you can see. We're trying to play the ball out to our centre-halves and right back, but the Arsenal line was pretty much on top of us there. That's always dangerous on our behalf. Here's Elyounoussi now. That's a good cross. Looking for Gabbiadini. There's Maxwell Cornet on the back post. That was a good chance. Half chance, in fact. So a positive start there for us. Oh, that's a terrible error. Aubameyang is through on goal, and it's fell to Ozil. Ozil puts it wide, though. They're going to be dangerous. I mean, they're so dangerous. The pace of Aubameyang. Oh, that was a good strike there from Gabbiadini on a fine save. Corner kick here. Torreira's going to put this in. Vestergaard with the clearance. Looked like he handled it away. But again, if you're looking at the match engine and you've seen lots of little problems with the graphics, obviously just keep in mind it is still the beta. There's still a lot to work on here. I'm trying to let things slip. I mean, I've seen some very, very bizarre animation that can only be explained, or at least hopefully only be explained by it being on beta and early release. Get this ball away. Alright, so far we're doing pretty good. We're holding Arsenal to some, I'd say, half chances at the very, very most. So, honestly, things are going pretty good here. Only 10 minutes in the game, though. Feels like forever. I thought we were going to be closer to the 30-minute mark, but only 10 minutes in. Crazy. Anyway, here's Ozil to Lacazette. And Granit Xhaka apparently needs to be closed down. He's a real goal-scoring threat. Didn't really ever think of that of Granit Xhaka. Here's Mesut Ozil. What a run that was, and lucky enough Angus Gunn was equal to it. So Arsenal do play a lot of attacking intent, I've noticed. Their tempo is obviously very high line of engagement. And that's a big blow there, losing James Ward-Prowse to injury. Another injury here. Again, injury bug is pretty rampant so far, I've noticed. And there's been a lot of complaints on Twitter about it too. Alright, so here's Toria. He's got acres of room to run into there. That's a good challenge from Ryan Bertrand, but forced to Hector Bellerin. That's a great ball, and Iwobi has made it 1-0. Actually, no, he doesn't. It's been disallowed. Apparently he was offside. Take another look at this again. Well, that was a close call, wasn't it? That was, you could argue that was dubious. Very, very dubious call there from the assistant linesman, but it got us out of jail, so I'm not going to complain about it. Alright, Socrates, back to check. Mustafi, once again, playing a very, very typical Arsenal system here, trying to build from the back. Good tackle there from Romeo. Crunching challenge there from the Spaniard. Here's Højbjerg to Maxwell Cornet. Bertrand's on the overlap here. He's going to get to the byline, looking for the near post. Poor crossing in from Ryan Bertrand. But again, if you can get players into that position with fairly ease. You can get your fullbacks forward, and they usually will have enough time to get a decent ball in. And that's a goal there for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's only a matter of time, really. Arsenal really look dangerous going forward in this game. They've got so much pace and so much drive. They just run freely at our defense, and our defense just kind of backs off them and doesn't really make a challenge. Alright, so 1-0 down here, and we're going to have to start chasing this game. Johnson with the clearance there. Only fires Mustafi. Got to close him down at the edge. Alright, Monreal. Back to Xhaka. Xhaka to Iwobi. Good challenge there from Romeo again. He's had a solidly good game protecting the back line, but we're asking a lot of him today. I noticed that of our defense as well. If they don't get close to the opposition attackers here, they just have all the time in the world. That's very, very dangerous when you're playing teams with the quality of Arsenal. Here's Iwobi. Good block there. Monreal. I mean, we seem to have very, very little shape and structure, and that's a little disappointing because I've been working hard in training, trying to get tactic familiarity up for the boys, but we just don't know. It looks like we don't know what we're doing out there, and that's a little concerning. All right, Winnett, good header, good save. So Arsenal in the first half have had 18 shots, 8 on target, and they're only 1-0 up somehow. I'm sure Arsenal will be very disappointed about that, but you know what? That means we're still in the game. So we're going to the break here. I'm tempted to make a tactical change because this kind of really isn't working for us, is it? But difficult. We've got some very odd pieces that only play in certain roles and certain positions, like Maxwell Cornet, for instance, and only really play left wing or right wing. He can't play into midfield, because I was thinking about maybe pushing him back and doing a 4-4-1-1 formation. I thought maybe I could drop Romeo deep, I suppose, alongside Højbjerg, do something like this, just protect the back line a bit more, have them both ball-winning midfielders to try and close down the Arsenal offense. I got to see more from Armstrong though, because Armstrong needs to be, well, he needs to do a little bit of everything, to be honest with you today. He needs to be that guy pulling the strings in midfield, and I haven't really seen him. Gabbiadini has also been pretty much invisible. So we'll start the second half. We'll make that slight tactical adjustment. We'll pull our two midfielders down to a little bit defensive, and we'll see if we can at least stem the tide of the Arsenal offense. All right, Torreira now puts the ball in the box. Good headed clearance from Vestergaard. There's Lacazette. It's deflected and goes behind for a corner kick here. So Arsenal, once again, starting the game strongly here. Højbjerg, the clearance doesn't get very far. There's Mesut Ozil. Plays it all the way back to Socrates for some strange, bizarre reason, but I'm not going to complain about that. If he does the clearing for us, I don't mind that at all. All right, Xhaka to Torreira. He's at the heart of everything Arsenal do, to be honest, especially in midfield. Xhaka and Torreira. See, we're trying to keep the ball here. We're trying to do the right thing. We just don't seem to have the same level of talent, and then it ends up doing something like this, and we're picking up scraps, and then we're losing the second ball. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done here, and I may have to ignore going forward, I may have to change my approach because I'm trying to get the boys to do something they quite clearly can't do. All right. There's Johnson to Højbjerg. Elionussi to Romeo. Ooh, there you go. There you go. First attack of the second half, so we're not completely out of this game. Only one goal, of course. If I was Arsenal's boots now, I'd be sweating more than us. I don't expect anything out of this game, but I'm sure the Arsenal fans and Emery expect to win here and win comfortably. And then they've seen they've had 23 shots on goal and only leading 1-0. During a Football Manager game, that's when you usually start to sweat a little bit. All right. So 68 minutes here. All right, so it seems to be working, though. I was going to say it seems to be working. Moving our two midfielders down to a bit more of a deeper role does seem to help a little bit to protect the back line. They haven't been able to run at our defense as frequently as they did in the first half. Oh, here we go. Here's a chance. Here's Gabbiadini. He's got Maxwell Cornet. He's got the pace to get away. He shoots and he scores. Get in there. Maxwell Cornet has made it 1-1 against the run of play here. We'll take it, though. So, a game plan has kind of worked. Soaking up pressure here against Arsenal. And when we get the opportunity, using the pace of Maxwell Cornet to get away there. And he struck it well. Czech was, well, very flat-footed there, to say the very least. And good finish there from Maxwell Cornet. That's his, third or fourth goal of the season? Something like that. He's definitely come into his own. A slow start to the campaign, but he certainly turned up big for us when we switch to this winger kind of formation. All right, so 80, going into extra time here. Sorry, injury time, I should say. And we're playing really well. I'm going to drop Armstrong in here. I'm actually going to bring him off second fort. I'm actually going to bring him off for Stephen Davis. Have Stephen Davis play as a deep line playmaker. I'm just going to add a third player in there, just to try and congest the midfield and not give Lucas Torreira and Xhaka any space at all. Because a lot of what they do, what they build upon is those two centre midfielders for Arsenal. So here's Cornet now looking for Elionussi. Johnson made a very surprising overlap. I don't want to see that at this point in the game. We are 1-1 here. We're going to take this will be a great draw if we get it. This is Bertrand to Romeo. Romeo to Davis to Maxwell Cornet. That's a poor ball and left Johnson in all kind of trouble there against Danny Welbeck. Now here's Maitland-Niles. Plays it to Bellerin. He's got himself in a really good spot. He chips the ball in. It's well cleared. There's Xhaka to Lacazette. And that was a really good chance for Arsenal there. Arsenal are going to be fuming here. They're not beating us. They've had all the chances in the world. And we're just kind of holding on by the skin of our teeth. And that is a wonderful save from Angus Gunn. Right in front of the Saints fans, the travelling Saints fans. All right, so maybe we're going to snatch a late winner here. Davis going to whip the ball in. Bellerin with the clearance. The Lictor's going to get there. So I got 20 seconds now to maybe hold on to a gutsy draw against a very talented Arsenal team. And by the way, it looks super, super overpowered in Football Manager 2019 from what I've seen thus far. They look very, very talented, very dangerous. Definitely kind of team I'd love to manage at some point. So yeah, come on, referee, that's enough surely, isn't it? Oh, here's Lacazette now. He's got to the byline, puts the Ozil. Oh my word, at the end. 30 seconds past the end of injury time and they score. I'm not going to begrudge Arsenal 3 points here today, but that's gutting. That's absolutely gutting. Oh. Wow. 30 seconds past injury time. And they get the winner. Unbelievable. I mean, look at the match stats. You can't argue with the result, but still, that doesn't make it hurt any less. All right. We'll try and put that behind us now and try and move on to next game against Manchester United. James Ward-Prowse won't be available for it, though. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. Another one to add to the injury pile. All right. So, yeah, one thing I noticed, too, about the press conferences is that the press conferences are much shorter this year, and I like that. I approve of that. Last year, I felt like every year, pretty much the media and the press conferences were just boring because of the same questions, and it was a long process to do them. When you got into it, you couldn't leave it. Well, you could leave it, but it caused a big fuss. But anyway, Poor result for you. I'm sure you're already aware that the Wolves have won today. How significant could that today become at the end of the season? I don't think we need to panic. Do you have any say about the amount of stoppage time added costing your team a result in the process? I'm pretty livid. Mesut Ozil's late winner might have been a real kick in the teeth. How will that moment affect your team? Okay, losing it so late is particularly hard. Yeah, because we fought hard and we stuck to our game plan and we almost come away with it. So to lose it like that is a little bit disheartening. You expected to be on the wrong side of hiding today, but you kept the feat just a single goal. Can you take heart in that performance? Yeah, I mean, we worked very hard as a team. James Ward-Prowse was unfortunate. I don't believe Emery would send his players out to hurt anyone. Surely become a point where the line has to be drawn. It can't be acceptable to see players injured, even if it's not to a serious extent as a result of over-enthusiastic play. I think it's important to preserve uniqueness in the game. Stephen Davis made a pretty horrendous mistake today, which ended up costing the game. How upset is he? He'll learn from it. I didn't really see the error myself, but Lewis Kirk, let's go homegrown on that one. All right, so let's go on to the next game now, up against Manchester United. And I've added new features from Manager 2019. This is certainly one of my favourite new ones. The training week in review screens that pop up. It really lets us know who's performing well in training. Obviously, you're 50-50 deciding who's going to be playing at the weekend. This can help you push you in the right direction to make the right choice. So Danny Ings had a really, really good week, and obviously we rested him for the last game, so he's certainly going to play. To say I'm very pleased. He appreciates the words, and it helps build the relationship. It's a nice, happy, positive atmosphere. This screen, by the way, that Foot Manager put in this year, top work. All right, got a notification here on player contracts. As you can see, a lot of players up for contracts negotiations. The only player I really want to try and bring back here is probably Will Smallbone from the player department. Maybe Christoph Klar. He has a little bit of potential, apparently. Not really seeing it myself, but apparently he does have it, so I'll probably keep him around a little bit longer. But have you noticed here, pretty much the entire of the background team is up for contract renewal, so that'd be a really good opportunity for me to try and stamp my authority on the football club. But one gentleman that is certainly going is Les Reed. You are done for. Honestly, Les Reed, he is... I despise this man. What he's done to the club the last couple of years. Obviously, I'm taking what he's done a bit personal, but I feel like he is solely responsible for the state that Southampton Football Club are largely in. Alright, so here we go. Second game of the episode now, up against Manchester United. Another tough test here. They're without Valencia, Matic and Sanchez for today's game. And obviously we're up against Jose Mourinho. Actually doing okay. They're fifth in the table. Quite a way off Man City, playing the chasing up game as well with Arsenal, as you can see. But at the moment, they're competing with Bournemouth, Liverpool and Tottenham for that final two spots in the Champions League. So after that result, we now slip to 12th place in the table, but lucky enough, we have enough points on the board, of 15 points ahead of Huddersfield, Leicester, who are in a crap season, and Cardiff. So I would say the three teams at the bottom there are really going to be struggling at the end of the season. So, obviously, we're missing James Ward-Prowse for today's action, but lucky enough, after resting Lamina midweek, he should be fit to go in this one, so that's a really good addition to the side. Vestergaard is struggling there, so Wesley Hoyt will start alongside De Ligt. At right back today, I'm actually going to be a little bit risky, and I'm going to play Victor Moses there. Not really a right back, as you can see. He really should be playing here, but I don't want to leave too big a gap here, and I feel that would be a bit of a gamble if I do that kind of shape. So Moses, he's just going to have to do a job at right back today for me. Going forward here, Al Yunusi was on the right wing. I don't really have too many other choices behind him. I could put Moses at right wing, couldn't I? Do something like this, because Moses can play at right wing. I think this is a bit more sensible. Play Johnson at right back, Moses at right wing. And then Lamina, okay, that's fine. And instead of Gabbiadini, it's going to be Danny Ings up top. Instead of the complete forward, I probably should use him in a different kind of role. Advanced role, perhaps. Get him more centrally used. Armstrong was poor. So we'll start Davis today. All right, and everyone looks pretty fit. Not superbly fit, but pretty fit. I mean, it's pretty much as good as you're going to get at this time of year. And instead of Shane Long, we'll have Gabby on the bench. All right, so up against Manchester United now. Obviously, I'd like to see us get a positive result. We are playing at home. No reason why we can't do it. All we have to do is defend a little bit better at the end of the game, and we would have had a point already at Arsenal. So if we continue playing with the same kind of stoutness, I'm confident that we can get something out of this game. Here's an early chance, perhaps. David's going to put the ball in. That's a good header. And Pogba almost put it into his own net. And it goes out for another corner here. Early goal would go down a treat, wouldn't it? Here's Lamina. Back to Davis. Not the greatest ball in the world from Stephen Davis. Another bite at the cherry. There's Lamina. Oh, poor ball in the end. I expected Lamina to take the shot on there. Because he's got himself a few goals this year. And he does look great going forward. He has a good shot on him. Disappointed he didn't take that effort on. Okay, so here's Moses now to Johnson. Glenn Johnson to Victor Moses now. Looking for a big performance from him today. That's a great cross. And Danny Ings forces De Gea into a great save there. Danny Ings looking dangerous there at the spearhead of attack. He's got himself 7 goals this season, to be fair. He's the only one that looks dangerous for us. I'd love to maybe bring in another striker in January, but I haven't got a lot of money. And Martial is absolutely lightning quick there. He absolutely torched our backline. And sets up an opportunity for Jesse Lingard, and Jesse Lingard gets his 9th goal of the season. But the pace of Martial here was absolutely unbelievable. We had no chance of catching him there. We have got no one on our team that's anywhere near that kind of pace, anywhere near that kind of speed. And Martial just made us look absolutely stupid there, didn't he? I noticed as well, Maxwell Cornet has also picked up a knock as well, which isn't good, because he had a good game against Arsenal there, obviously getting the goal that equalised for us. Alright, here's Bertrand from a deadly set-piece situation. Oh, poor free kick from Ryan Bertrand. It's starting to snow. It's Christmas time. That's awesome. I love the changing weather. That's a really cool addition this year, Football Manager. Did it happen last year? I can't remember. Anyway, here's Danny Ings. So far, we're playing really well. We're controlling possession. We're 65%, and we're actually creating opportunities. So far, it's been a much, much better performance. Here's Martial again, looking to repeat what happened in the first goal. Smashes Wesley Hoyt in the face, and does enough to make the clearance, but danger still on. Someone get there. Good clearance from Delict, and Davis flicks it on. So hopefully that's the end of the attack, and it is. And notice Glenn Johnson, by the way, has picked up a knock. He wants to come off. It looks like a twisted knee, apparently. But yeah, Martial against Glenn Johnson, that's just an absolutely horrendous mismatch. Yeah, let's go ahead and make that change. I put Victor Moses at right back like originally we had planned. And we'll bring on Elyounoussi, then for Glenn Johnson. Elyounoussi can play in front of Victor Moses. All right, so kind of a forced change there, disappointing really, and Maxwell's probably going to come off at halftime too. I'm looking at Gabbiadini. He's kind of one of the only options on the bench to play left wing. Alright, here's Lukaku to Martial. Should be 2-0 there. But honestly, Man United haven't looked that much better than us. I've had a few really key runs there, especially from this man here, Anthony Martial, who looks supremely good in this year's game. I mean, pace and skill, obviously, in Football Manager Football Manager games, usually are overpowered, and I can certainly say that about Martial here. He's going to be an absolute beast, no doubt about it. All right, so halftime here. It's only 1-0, so we're still in this game, and we've even had a few chances. And I think on another day, Danny Ings would have found the back in the net on a couple of those opportunities. Let's do this team talk real quick. I'm going to say we're unlucky so far. I'm going to try and keep the momentum positive, or at least the morale positive in the side. And we'll keep on Maxwell Cornet for now, because he hasn't asked to come off, and he's still at a decent enough condition to keep it going. Alright, so first highlight of the second half here. De Gea's going to lock this ball forward. Innings with a flick on. Lindelof, the Darmian, that's easily taken then from Manchester United. Here's Bertrand. Don't think stupid. We play the ball out of defence, but I don't mind us putting this into row Z if we need to. Elyounoussi now to Romeo, to Moses, to Elyounoussi again. again, just continues to break down in the final third for us. We do very well to get to that point. Martial, again, just absolutely torching our back line, just running directly at them. And our defence just look like a deer in headlights right now when with Martial running towards them. There's very little they can do about it, to be fair. They can't keep up pace for pace. They can't close them down too early because you'll just skip by them. So I understand why they're backing off, but it's still alarming every time he gets hold of the ball. All right, so let's bring on Gabbiadini now to play left wing for us. Not ideal, but we'll see what happens. Obviously got plenty of time in this game still, and we've had a couple of chances, a couple of half chances. They've only had that one clear-cut chance, and it was a good finish from Jesse Lingard. So that's the difference between the two sides right now. We certainly have him in our class until De Ligt make that error and Angus Gunn makes a comfortable save. All right, so here's a set piece. Davis whips this ball in. Lukaku with the clearance. Lamina is going to get hold of that loose ball. So Mario Lamina, haven't seen much of him today, disappointingly, but he's up against a very, very tough Man United side. Here's Al-Yunusi to De Ligt. Oh, come on, Matthias. That's twice now he's given the ball away to Martial, and twice Angus Gunn has kind of got him out of jail. Stephen Davis curling effort almost went in. All right, so 73 minutes on the clock here. Let's make another change. Let's push 2 up top. Let's bring on. We'll do Matt Target perhaps, and then Gabbiadini can push up top. Armstrong can also play left midfield too. In fact, that's actually what I'm going to do. Armstrong going to play left wing, and then Gabby can play up top alongside Danny Ings. Because only one goal behind in this, and I've got a feeling if we push here, perhaps we can get something out of this game. So I'm going to go to attacking now for the last 15 minutes of this game. This could be dangerous, though, obviously opening ourselves up for Manchester to exploit, but you've got to take risks. It's pointless sitting back and just accepting a 1-0 defeat, especially when we're playing at home. Because I think Man United are here for the taking. We just got to make sure we have the right ball forward. Here's Gabbiadini now running at the Man United defence for a change. Gabbiadini does well, gets the ball, and Danny Ings is there. Oh, Danny. Oh, Danny Ings. Better, though. Better play there. Good link-up play there between Gabby and Danny Ings. Here's Lukaku. We've kept him quiet today, which is a positive note. Vestergaard and De Ligt have played well in that respect of things, but I'm not happy with De Ligt's distribution. I've seen him give it away far too cheaply on more than one occasion. Here's Lingard now through on goal. Good save from Angus Gunn. So Man United starting a few more efforts on goal now. Obviously, us switching to attacking has opened the field up a little bit. Let's go very attacking. Why not? Let's see if we can get ourselves a late equaliser. Pull our Arsenal, as it were. Alright, so here's Gunn now. Armstrong wins it in the air. Well, here's Gabbiadini. We have time here. Here's Lamina. Plays it all the way back. Why did he play it all the way back? We're trying to get a goal back here. We're playing on very attacking, but he plays a 30-yard ball back, and he sets up opportunity for Man United to press us. Here's Martial through on goal, and that's a good challenge there from De Ligt. Moses and De Ligt just enough to keep Martial under wraps then. But it wasn't exactly convincing. Good header clear from Wesley Hote. Alright, so 4 minutes of added on time here. Looks like another frustrating game, to be honest with you. I think Man United were here for the taking, and Rashford almost makes it 2-0 there. Alright, so throw in deep in the Man United half. Here's Romeo. That's an awful challenge. How's that not a free kick, ref? Alright, whatever. Not sure what that highlight meant, but alright. So with about 50 seconds left in this game, it's looking like Man United are going to come away with a victory here. Alright, unless Danny Ings could pull something out of his hat. Alright, Victor Moses. Tackle well by Martial there. So we're putting the pressure on here. We just got to get the ball in the box now. Moses to Lamina. It's tackled from behind, ref, but it doesn't matter. It's full-time whistle. And it's finished here 1-0. Not a bad display against Manchester United by any sense of the word, but another defeat. It's another defeat. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the schedule. And you'll notice now we've only won one game in December 2 games if you count the Crystal Palace game. I don't know why that's there, but 2 games. We beat Huddersfield and Crystal Palace. We lost to Everton, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Arsenal, and Manchester United. So, as you can see, it's tough times here at Southampton during the Christmas period. So, as we go into January now, against Watford, I'm hoping we can perhaps turn this around. Maybe bring in a few players. I'm going to have to sell some first before I bring some in. But yeah, I'm probably going to stick with this formation for now. I think that's a formation that we can certainly work with. Obviously, it sucks because Victor Moses, he doesn't really fit this system at all. But maybe we can retrain him to play right back a bit more, or maybe we can retrain him to play as a right attacking midfielder. Try and make the most out of him, because I've spent a ton of money on him. I mean, yeah, I spent £27 million on him because I thought he was the perfect complete right wing back for the formation that I wanted to use at the start of the series. But I found this formation, we leaked far too many goals, and we weren't any kind of effectiveness going forward. So I had to switch the style to try and at least, I don't know, do something in the game, because this wasn't working for me. So I had to change our style, which means somebody had to lose out, and unfortunately that was Victor Moses. So 2 choices when it comes to that one. I could try and maybe sell Victor Moses on, try and get some of the money back, or I can just retrain him. And I think the realistic approach now after signing him is going to have to be retraining him. All right. So, that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are enjoying this series so far, make sure you do me a favor, hit the like button on it. And if you want to see more videos by myself in the future, please hit subscribe, turn notifications on. Obviously, I will be doing daily Football Manager 2019 content this year. I'm going to try and keep up with that goal for as long as I possibly can. Or surprise circumstances aside, hopefully you'll see a new Football Manager 2019 video every single day. But thank you once again for joining me. Let me know in the comments below, do you have anything you want me to incorporate when it comes to tactics? Obviously, I'm going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 wide formation just for now. I'm going to try and develop a bit more of a patient patient approach. I want to try and retain possession more, but I want to be able to generate a few more opportunities than we've been getting. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? I'd be interested to hear your feedback. But thanks so much for watching once again. I'll see you all in the very next video. Goodbye everyone. Goodbye.